We are at the halfway point of the Special Stage Pro Truck season, and we are going dirt oval racing here at USA International Speedway. Welcome to the Warehouse 1000, round 5 of season number 2, live on Tracy TV. I am Olivia Hayward, as always, and I am joined by the number 13. What's going on here?
Yes, indeed. Anyone who is familiar with some of the work in Season 1 knows that I am not above hopping in occasionally for some in-race reporter / in-race color commentary. So this will be my third ever start in the off-road series here on Special Stage. I don't think anyone will ever forget my appearance at Sonoma, where you heard me screaming bloody murder as I plowed into a truck that suddenly appeared stopped. So it's never short of excitement when I'm in behind the wheel and actually screaming at what's going on while I'm trying to drive. So yeah, it's gonna be an awesome time.
Yeah, and I'm sure there would be any trucks suddenly appearing in a no-torsion race on a track that's maybe 2 trucks wide. I broadcast my first ever dirt oval race last week. It was the NASCAR trucks over at Eldora, and that's a very wide racetrack. There was a lot of room to work with, and the drivers in general did a great job keeping it clean. This one, I think, is going to be a challenge for people.
Absolutely. It's a lot longer straightaway wise than most dirt ovals. And then you don't really have a whole lot of room to work with in the corners, at least compared to, like you said, an Eldora, for example. So a lot of guys are going to be fighting there, trying to get the space they want on the track, and trying to figure out what lines are even going to be viable as the race goes on. You see the inside line is pretty well knackered right now. So you either got to run to the outside or be able to kind of work the little bit of patches there on the inside and try to grab some speed that way.
Yeah, it is going to be a very interesting one. As we know, this track has not been in reality for the past about 17 years, and as such, the track crew have gone home. They've retired. So whatever the track ends up as, you are just going to have to deal with for the rest of this one.
Absolutely. So that's going to make things real interesting, and that's going to put those who have a lot of dirt knowledge and the ability to figure out what lines are even still going to be viable and where to grab as much grip as you can, because as you see, it's going to be pretty limited. And I'm going to step away to get my qualification run. So Bravo 6 going dark.
Lock in. We've got drivers on their first qualifying laps here. Stephen Stoll will be one of the first to cross the line in the number 68. It's going to come across with a 28.2. Zach Amsbacher is going to have the best time, with Tom Manheimer's winner last week coming in second place right behind. We'll see if lap 2 finds an improvement. I imagine it is going to be quite similar. Maybe lap 2 a little bit slow, because these tyres do wear out a little bit, as of a couple of years ago. But at the same time, you can push a little bit more. You can find a little bit. Matt Schlosser goes fastest on lap 2, jumps into third place. And let's put a little bit of pressure on our James Watson. Come across the line to start lap number 1. You see a little bit of grass down on the inside of this. This is actually a fictional layout of the dirt course. Because a lot of old tracks did run dirt before being paved. I'm not sure the history of USA. But it was not a Bristol situation once it was paved, from what I understand. So iRacing took some liberties with some of the free content back in the early days, and that is how we have this. I will note Watson's practice times were in the 26s. That's with a completely fresh racetrack, so we've lost about a second of pace in this one. Watson goes second fastest with a 27.767. He's found another couple hundredths to try and catch Joey Herbie. There's the run off turn 4. A lot of wheel hand over hand up to the line, and it is gonna be enough. No, it's
Nope.
28.7. Sorry, my apologies. I'm struggling to read right now. So outside of the front row, it's looking like for Watson right now, as Matthew Lind comes around to finish up lap number 2, which will be one of our last drivers. Zach Fuller jumps into the 3rd position with his 2nd lap, and the 333, I think, is going to round out qualifying here, coming across the line, set 28.2 on lap 1, finds a huge improvement, goes up into 3rd place himself. And ooh, is going to need a new truck for the race. How do you feel about that qualifying lap, James?
A little bit bummed. I didn't quite get through turn 1 like how I wanted to, and it cost me just that little bit. So to miss out on the pole by that much is a bummer, to say the least. But we'll see how the race is gonna go. I believe we're gonna be going on green. So in light of that, you know, maybe starting on the inside may not be the best thing. So maybe being able to try a power around the outside might help me get the track position here. But yeah, it's this opening laps are going to be wild, and you know, we have to still remember that we have to worry about aero damage, because iRacing, I don't know, likes to see us suffer, and we have to worry about aero damage on a off-road truck where the body panels are totally necessary to how it operates. So yeah, you got to do everything you can just to keep the truck as clean as possible, because it will cost you speed if you do get any aero damage, especially at a track like this where you have such long straights.
Yeah, it's going to be a big challenge to manage that. Again, 30 laps with no cautions, so it's going to be about survival first and foremost, and then making up positions once you get the chance near the end of a race, I think.
Absolutely, and another thing we're going to have to worry about is tire wear. The right rear is going to take a beating, so you're going to have to be careful on how much throttle you put into this thing. Otherwise, you're going to blow the right rear off, and it will be noticeable.
A lot to watch out for as we get into our first of 2 races for tonight. Let's have a look at our full starting lineup for race 1 of the Warehouse 1000. It is Joey Herbie taking pole by 2/100ths of a second over the wonderful James Watson, making his first start of the season. Matthew Linder and Zach Fuller line up directly behind, both within a tenth of that pole position time as well. Zach Ansbacher and Tom Manheimus will line up 5th and 6th. Cody Meadows and Joey Kirk will line up on row number 4 of the grid. And then Matt Schlosser and Joshua Heedy will round out your top 10. And Reeperson and Greg Johnson will line up 11th and 12th, with Sigmund Stoll and Craig Peterson 13th and 14th. Row 8 goes to Alex Good and Victor Aldrich, with Justin Pierce and Tommy Cook lining up behind on row number 9. Then rounding out our field is going to be Stephen Thompson, Stephen Barnett, and Travis Fleming.
Yeah, I think Matt picked the Pro 2 Lite, and when he discovered that everyone else was in the Pro 2, he was like, I'm a head out.
Yeah. Just, you know, sometimes you show up and the engine's not quite giving you what you need. It's unfortunate. He's going to come back firing for next week, we think. And the 21 trucks are going to get going for the first of 2 pace laps, I think.
You are correct.
I don't confuse, the lights are out on the pace truck on my screen, but I guess the lights don't go on when it's just pacing rather than a caution.
Yeah, and anything under a mile, we're always going to be stuck doing 2 pace laps.
Yeah.
Even though you can absolutely get away with just 1 pace lap with here being a lot closer to the 1 mile length than most dirt ovals.
It shows you how often I line up on pole at short tracks. I have never really paid attention to it. What the hell?
What?
Lynn just turned right on the straightaway.
Okie dokie then. Oh, his screen went black.
Oh
no.
And that's caused damage to a huge chunk of the field, I think.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a lot for everyone to
Tom and
catch
I was
back
trying to
up
fight
here.
back through. He's jumping over people. This is gonna be an interesting race.
Yeah. Oh boy, this is sure gonna be interesting here.
Well, we are gonna go green. The pace truck is gonna pull off and away. And we are racing for the Warehouse 1000. And James Watson trying to rip the outside here. Joey Herbie on the inside. Gonna hold that. They're gonna be clear into turn number 3. And now Zach Fuller starting to put that pressure on. The one remaining survivor on row number 2. Watson gets to the inside though. Just to switch back on Herbie. And is that in fact going to lead lap number 1? Let's defend the inside line
no
here.
grip, no grip, no grip.
Left side
Yeah,
struggling for grip. It seemed like the grass is where you can find it down there, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. That's exactly where I'm trying to aim here. I'm trying to, because if you can nail the inside right there, there's still a decent amount of grip, which is what I'm trying to aim for here. So, but there's just so much rubber put down all over the entry of turn 1. It's making it difficult. Turn 3 isn't quite as demolished, so I'm able to jump in to the inside and carry a lot of speed, but I might have to think of something different here for turn 1.
It is chaos behind. Ant Meeperson really found himself in the thick of it on the edge of the top 10. Lost some body weight already. Sivron Stoll again goes for it into turn number 1. He was 3 out on the exit of 4 as well with Johnson and Schlosser. And is now middle 3 on the exit of turn number 2. This is tricky, but they're doing a good job holding on to it right now. I don't know how you can fit 3 wide here in these trucks, to be honest. They are some of the biggest things in iRacing.
Yeah, I mean, you still got plenty of space for that, but it's impossible with everyone going for a handful of real estate out there on the track. So you're gonna be getting a lot of argy-bargy there because guys want to be running a specific line. And you know, this is where the slide jobs may come into play if the grooves starts to get moved up more.
Biggest movers right now is that Amsbach are actually up 3 positions. Stephen Barnett up 5, but has a black flag to serve, it looks like. Tommy Cook is down 3. Of course, Matthew Linder had that issue on the start. He's still rolling, but is definitely struggling at the back of the field. And then Joey Herbie was down 5. He's picking back up. Sivron Stoll shuffles at Meepson into the fence. Accordion effect behind everyone. Managed to stay pointed in the right direction. Impressive for a Pro 2 truck. A Pro 4 would straighten you out automatically, but not necessarily so true here. Stoll and Meepson still going at it through turns 1 and 2. And this is...
Oh man, I just ran over a quarter panel.
Oh, I think you might know where it came from now.
Yeah.
Looks like Stoll might have the move and has the inside down to turn number 1, uses that berm of the grass. Meepson actually doing a great job holding the outside line. He's going to set up a crossover of his own, I think. Gets blocked. That could be moved done for the 68. But they are now more than 2 seconds separated from the rest of the top 10.
Oh, oof, I got a nice little bump from Amsbacher there.
Hello. This is now a battle for the race lead. The 22 started on the third row of the grid, is now up into second place, trailing behind the number 39 of James Watson. It is very weird commentating about someone when they are listening actively to you. Oh, Meepson's had an incident. We're going to have to roll back to see what happened there. And was it with Stoll? Again, it was. Went for a slider in turn one and caught the wall.
Oh,
That's
no.
unfortunate. Ended up stalled at the tail end of the field. Now, Matthew Linder as well has had another issue. Gets into the back of the 15. Turns around. That truck, that is Stephen Barnett in the 151, in fact. And, yeah, I imagine Matthew Linder maybe not made the most friends from how things have gone in the early run of this one.
Yeah, it's a tough race so far for Lind and a lot of people.
Back to live action here, and we are starting to catch up to a little bit of lap traffic with the truck of Barnett. I mean, how do you navigate this one?
Well, if he goes high, it's going to be perfectly fine, since obviously you see I'm trying to wrap the wall and the grass as best as I can. So as long as he stays high, we'll be okay.
Go on board here. So he's entering low, but is then running sort of higher in the mid corner. But obviously you're not quite to the rear bumper yet. Sometimes you never know how a lap car is gonna change their mind when that happens. Here could be the move, not quite.
Yeah, thankfully
he's staying high.
up.
Now he's getting out of the
Yeah,
way.
really appreciate that from Steven.
Yeah, so it's always the balancing act. If you don't want to dive completely out of the way, because you want to try and stay close to the trucks ahead, but also if you get in the way a little bit too much, you could end up finding yourself in the wall from someone who either predicts it wrong or who maybe is a little bit less patient than you might expect. Not a concern this time, and a nice, safe exchange with the first lapper of the day to let you hold on to that 8/10 second lead.
See Victor Aldrich in a nice little battle here. He's trying to rip the high side.
Yeah. Pierce goes deep into turn number one here. That might be a good chance to get that, but it's also going to open up the inside for Aldrich here. He gets the run off the corner, but he's still in the thick of this fight. And they've got pressure from Peterson behind now. But he goes to the inside and could pinch Aldrich to the high side here. No, couldn't quite have the run. Very interested in this battle for the 12th position. As well as a fight, Joey Herbie and Cody Meadows are dueling a little bit further ahead. As our Thompson and Good just behind this fight. But there, it mostly settled. Now Alex Good goes to the inside, gets that move done pretty cleanly on Stephen Thompson.
Yeah, that's a nice pass. He's able to hold the little grip strip there perfectly.
Eyes on the road, James. It looks like Meadows actually fallen now behind Matt Schlosser, who is starting to find his footing here in the dirt, of course, admin of the league. So always looking for good performances and has picked up. Has not picked up a race win yet this season. I'm thinking of other leagues where he's picked up race wins. But there's always been thereabouts, to be fair.
Yeah, not a whole lot of race wins on offer when Josh Edmondson is lurking.
That is true. Hey, I mean, there's 2 up for grabs this time because Edmonton taking that week off.
And we'll still maintain a very big championship.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that in the warm-up. I did have those updated points well updated. Meanwhile, Zach and Zach fighting for second place behind you. I mean, this must be exactly what you want to see.
Absolutely. See that and see as many laps ticket away as possible.
Gap now extends to 1.3 at the front of the field as Fuller gets to the inside of Amsbacher. The crossover move comes through. Fuller nearly into the wall there on start finish. 10 laps to go here for race number 1 of the Warehouse 1000. And let's not forget, this is going to be a full field invert as usual, which is going to be interesting for race number 2.
Chaos.
So
absolute chaos.
Do enjoy that one.
I think the fans at home will be enjoying it a lot more than I will.
Yeah, potentially. Fuller seems to have gotten the move done there and has pulled enough of a gap from Amsbacher that he doesn't really have to look behind anymore, can start focusing forwards on the race leader. We will see if he can close in there. Meanwhile, the battles continue for 12th position as, well, Pierce has pulled a bit of a gap. It's now the 3-way battle between Aldrich, Peterson and Thompson for 13th place. That is looking very tight right now. Thompson goes to the inside. Doesn't quite get to the grass, I think, but finds just enough grip to get the clear call, actually, from Peterson there on the start-finish straight. Then goes high, leaves potentially the room for Peterson to come back. And they are going to be able to hold on to it. So great work from Thompson there. Cody Meadows still trying to get back around Joey Herbie. That's been a fight that's been going on for a while. Herbie with that pole position lap hasn't been able to find too much in the way of race pace. Sort of settled into that 6th position behind Joey Kirk. Matt Schlosser looking to pick up pieces as well. As we have 6 laps to go for our race leaders. How's the track feeling at this point of the race?
Oh, it's absolutely gone. The inside is basically just non-existent now. So getting rotation on corner entry has been not the easiest thing. So I've been missing the bottom quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, you can't see it too much because people have been going all the way up to the wall at times, but you can see the sort of dark brown at the wall. Then you have that sort of lighter dirt where it's been worn in a little bit and it's taken off that sort of loose dirt. As it gets compacted, it turns almost black on the very inside line. That's how you can tell that the track's at very high wear at that portion of the racetrack. And that's why going back to the loose dirt of, you know, the rim of the grass at the low side is the way to find a little bit extra grip where you might not otherwise find it. Barnett is up against the wall in turn number 3 and 4. How has that happened to the 151? Oh, just overcuts it, over-rotates it. And very slow rolling to the fence, just tips the truck over. Very high center of gravity on these things. And that's going to be night done. Zach Fuller to the outside of James Watson. He didn't tell us anything about that one.
Yeah.
Two and a half laps to go here. Fuller gets to the inside. Watson trying to use that high side now to find momentum. Go for the crossover here. Zach Fuller has gotten to the race lead with 2 laps to go. Does Watson have an answer for the 100? Who is now taking full use of that low side through 1 and 2. Doesn't quite get the run. It's 3 and 4 where those lines are a little bit more available. At least they were earlier on in the race. But it is going to be Zach Fuller with 1 lap to go, taking the white flag here at USA with a 6/10 of a second lead. Through turns 1 and 2, Ansbacher for 3rd place with Heimus behind the top 4 with a huge breakaway. But it is going to be Zach Fuller through turns 3 and 4 for the final time, holding to that low side and rolling through for the race win here at USA. James Watson comes home in 2nd. Ansbacher, Mannheimus and Joey Kirk round out the top 5. Do they? No, Kirk with a run to the line just beats Cody Meadows ahead of Herbie, Schlosser and Johnson and Schlosser. And then Joshua Heady finishing up the rest of the top 10.
Yeah, I just couldn't make the inside work anymore, really. And he was just able to have a little more grip than I had.
And I was busy looking at a truck upside down, so I'm going to quickly pull up the replay there, because we have Zach Fuller in the Southwest truck here, rolling through, and just goes to the inside through turns 3 and 4, and is able to slide through, cover off the move, opens up the crossover opportunity. Of course, that I think is where we joined the battle, and through sort of a couple of exchanging sliders, eventually finds that momentum to hold that low side clear and not be back under defense almost.
Yeah, it's disappointing because, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to get to the front in this one. So, yep, there goes my only chance to get a win this season. This one's going to hurt.
We know anything can happen in these inverts. It is going to be a very chaotic race number 2. Again, that low side going to continue to deteriorate as we keep going. So I think what I'm expecting is to see some trucks at the front of the field sort of miss that line and wash up in the early laps, and there to be some pretty big incidents on the outside of the corners from that. Just a minute left in the warm-up session. This is going to be a good chance for Linda, I guess, is the main thing. Gonna pick up a good starting grid spot from that invert, and will have the opportunity, as long as his monitor holds on, to be able to try and lead the charge instead, as we've got a bit of an incident down at turn 2. That was that Ansbacher, I think. Stopped. Warm-up comes to an end. Race 2 coming up next here on JCTV. So Matthew Johnston will have that blank inside pole spot. So it'll be Matthew Lind with the pole position on the outside, and Stephen Barnett will come up to join on the inside of that first row. Those two got into an incident in that first race, so this could be a very interesting start for the two of them. It'll be Fleming and Cook on row number 2, Meepson and Good on the 3rd row, Peterson and Pierce on the 4th row, and then Victor Aldrich and Stephen Thompson rounded out row number 5. On the very tail end of the field, of course, we're going to have the likes of Fuller, Watson, Amspacher, and Hymas and Kirk. Going to cut their way through from, well, for some drivers, the low 20s. See how far they can climb in 30 laps towards the front of the field. What's the strategy, do you think, to try to get through here? Or is there one?
No, just drive and hope for the best. Gonna need a lot of luck here to make up all these spots, so it's gonna be difficult, so we'll see what happens.
Field comes through for the 1 to go signal. Next time by, we are going to go green for the final 30 laps of action here at USA International. Again, it is Lind and Barnett sharing that front row. Barnett being moved up to the inside of the front row. We did see that the outside did have a great chance to fire off early. A chance for Lind to try and break away ahead of whatever happens behind. Turns 3 and 4 now. The place truck will peel off through the gap in the wall. Lind and Barnett will get us going once again here at USA.
Oh boy, this is gonna...
Oh, and it's happened already. It's Travis Fleming who gets jumped up, and oh my goodness,
oh,
what?
Jesus Christ.
Oh, and it's all happening behind you here.
Oh, it's all happening in front of me too.
Oh, it really is. Meeperson still in the thick of everything here. Contact between Heedy and Johnson, it looks like. Meeperson and Thompson struggling for track position. Then enter 3 abreast behind 785 all the way up against the wall. The trucks in that middle group just have nowhere to go, it seems like. Just that lane of the track just has nothing to give them. And a nudge from Amspacher, and it checks up the field, catches up Schlosser, catches up Joey Kurt, catches up Tom Manheimus. Biggest gainer right now was one James Watson, up 8 positions. That Fuller up 7, Greg Johnson up 5, Sibram Stoll up 7 into the 4th position. That is a huge run for the 68. As, oh my goodness, that's Alex Good into the wall with far too deep of an entry in turn number 1. Lind has a 2.5 breakaway ahead of Stephen Barnett. And then behind it is still the Hornet's Nest in turns 3 and 4. Fanned out 2, 3 abreast the whole way through this second pack. Ooh. I've never understood racetracks that have that cut out thinking it's a good idea.
Yep.
Gateway is another one. I just don't understand it. Hold on to the 9th position does James Watson here. Greg Johnson up 7 ahead. Zach Ansbach set the fastest lap last time by. Unfortunately, it is towards the tail end of the field for that one. After, well, starting then, I think getting caught up in some early shenanigans. Gap at the front is now 2.6 seconds for Matthew Linder. He's found that breakaway. And the reversal really has dealt him into a great opportunity to take the race win. Johnson and Good fighting for the 5th spot here. Johnson has the inside line. Can't quite get down as low as he would like. Good gets a bit too high, I think, off that one. And Johnson's able to clear for the 5th position as they duel behind Tommy Cook and Joshua Heedy, throwing doors at each other here. You see Ant Meeperson really trying to use that low side the best that he can after starting from the 5th position. Currently holding on to 7th after a very rough race 1. He's weathering the storm pretty well so far, but finds again that bumper of Joshua Heedy, trying to force the moves any way that he can after starting down in 13th. Meeperson so close to the pit wall there on entry of turn number 1. That Fuller's finally climbing up through the field. Watson is to the inside of Josh Heedy. Slides up ahead of Heedy. Has to defend from Cook here into the next corner. As I think Fuller's going to try and get the run on the number 7 here. Defensive line. It works out here, and as Tommy Cook is stranded up on that high side, slide up the field into 7th place now for Watson. 9th place for Fuller, doing a great job coming from the back row of the grid for both of those trucks. As Cook gets into the back of Good. Again, it's impressive how well these trucks straighten themselves out with the fact they are rear-wheel drive. Just it's like a pendulum that almost swings it back into position.
Yeah, absolutely. These things are pretty easy to save, all things considered, with just the way the suspension systems are designed and the front steering geometry.
And Zat's not letting you have an easy commentary job here, is he?
Nope.
I'll let you focus on that, because behind, Heedy and Cook have been shuffled. They're following each other on the high side here. Tom and Hymas has worked back through into this group after getting caught up in that earlier incident. They're actually mostly in one piece there for the 007. And working the low side, trying to get underneath Stephen Thompson there in turns 3 and 4. They are going to be nearly 4 wide on exit as Heedy sort of pinches tight. Get through it. And Hymas really working that low side, trying to find the tiniest groove from Thompson, and could very easily lead to an incident if that door gets closed. And there is contact between the two of them. They're leaning on each other through turns 3 and 4. They keep it pointing in the right direction. Thompson wins out in the end, but Alex Good, I think, gets the best run out of anyone out of the corner. And these two with a very, very close battle here for what is going to be the 10th position or thereabouts. Now Thompson back ahead of Good as Good catches the cutout there on the entry of turn number 3. And despite fine grip on the outside, is now going to be on the outside to Hymas on the entry. Gap at the front, 4.8 seconds for Matthew Lind. Huge move. They're 3 wide behind. Cody Meadows gets into Zach Amspacher. We're getting shuffled down the order now. For a move gets tapped by Craig Peterson as well. And past the halfway point, still very fierce competition. A lot of trucks out of position compared to where their qualifying pace would be. And it's shown in how aggressive some of these fights are to try and cut through. Oh my goodness. Middle three finds the grip on the outside of Ant Meeperson. Watson having to fight for these positions still, as Meeperson's trying to fight through. More contact. We know Meeperson's was shooting the outside all the race long in race one until he got into the wall.
Oh my god!
Oh, and that's Stephen Barnett from the second position out into the outside wall.
Wow, that was a violent crash. That happened like right in front of me.
And that was all the way up by the front of the field. Has a whittle on entry and catches the pit wall. Was qualified up in second, well, started in second, was forced about maybe fifth place by that point, but just had that death whittle on entry. And we mentioned that pit wall cutout is so sharp, someone's finally found it. And I think in avoidance, it spread the field out a little bit.
Yeah, and you know, having to run that extreme inside line, you're basically flirting with death at the end of that pit road wall, so I can't say I'm surprised someone finally got it.
Yeah, it's almost like the line through the bus stop at Watkins Glen before the 3D curbing sort of changed the preferred groove there. Very close to the limit, and you'd always see a couple of people run it a bit too close each race, but the pace was there if you could nail it every single lap, and that's the risk you got to take sometimes. It's not paid off for Barnett, unfortunately. He's down in pit lane. He's not able to finish out this one. Into the final 10 laps here at Lakeland, and it is a 5.4 second lead for Matthew Linder after hardware trouble in race number 1. Uses the invert and has a huge gap to Justin Pearce and Sibron Stoll behind. Fuller and Johnson are side by side for the 4th position right now, as they actually close into Sibron. So it's a three-way battle for that final step on the podium. All drivers up a number of positions. Stoll up 8, Johnson up 9, Fuller up 17. As Johnson goes all the way up into the outside lane through 3 and 4. 6 laps to go. Got Monheimus and Thompson also in a fight for the 6th position. And then a huge group of traffic led by Watson, and then Amsbacher, Heedy and Meadows dueling over the final spot in the top 10.
Yeah, kind of surprised everything is spread out as much as it has right now. I guess it's a massive, gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Consequence of how absolutely demolished this track state is.
Yeah, very tricky. That middle groove especially just seems difficult, and so a 3-wide situation kind of resolve itself. The trick in the middle, it's put in that circle hole and shuffle back a lane by the time you exit the corner. You're fighting sort of on the very inside and the very outside, and this is what Zach Fuller's trying to do here. Stoll sticking to that inside groove in 1 and 2. Fuller ripping all the way up against the wall. Is he going to have the exit to get side by side? He is. He's not going to be clear into turn 3, but he's just going to go back to the outside groove using some of that looster still available up against the outside wall. And with 4 laps to go, he is going to clear into turn number 1, but he's going to stick to the outside. Doesn't feel confident cutting down, actually gets it up into the wall. Johnson catches it worse. Could be a little bit of damage on that truck potentially. Zach Fuller able to continue the momentum and up into the 3rd spot on the podium. Meanwhile, Meadows trying to find a way around Ansbach for like 8th position. See Watson up onto that high side once again. 3 laps to go here in Florida. Matthew Linder with an 8-second lead at the front. That shows what clean air can do for you.
Yeah, being able to just stay out of this, focus forward, and just focus on, conserving your right rear and not having to push too much, and keep all that aero on the truck working as intended.
Joey Kirk fights through on the inside. More contact there. Ansbach and Meadows fighting both on the low side there, trying to sort of pinch each other out of that optimal groove. The white flag is in the air here for Matthew Lind. And we are about to see the checker flag fly. Ant Meeperson wall rides behind. Lind gives a little bit of a nudge. But he will come to the line, take that race win. 3, 3, and 4, Pierce and Fuller fight for that 2nd spot. Pierce with the over-rotation on the outside. Has to go for the crossover move. Can't get it done. Fuller moves up into 2nd place at the end of the run. Pierce comes home 3rd. Stoll 4th. Johnson 5th. Nevin Hymas, Thompson, Meadows, Ansbacher and Peterson finishes out the top 10. And I think we've lost James Watson.
Yeah, heck of a way to finish the race, though.
Yeah, great fight. That was within half a tenth in the end. That will wrap up our action here at USA. Before we go into interviews, let's have a look at our final race results for the Warehouse 1000. Matthew Lind wins by 11.1 seconds as the trucks battle behind. It is Zach Fuller who comes through from the back of the grid to finish in 2nd place ahead of Justin Pierce, Stephen Stoll, and Greg Johnson, who round out that top 5. And Hymas with falling behind Johnson there, with Thompson breaking away, finishes in 7th place. Meadows, Amsbacher, and Peterson round out the top 10, with the rest of the field following closely behind. James Watson, Joey Kirk, Joshua Heedy, Joey Herbie, and Victor Aldrich, with Tommy Cook, Alex Good, and Matt Schlosser rounding out the rest of the lead lap finishers. Ant Meeperson falls 1 lap down at the checkered flag. Stephen Barnett with that horror crash in turn number 1 will be a DNF, as well as Travis Fleming, who got caught out early, will be a non-finisher here at USA. And it looks like we are gonna hear, first of all, from Zach Fuller. We'll bring Zach in here. Zach, great run here today. Of course, that first race, fighting through with James Watson all the way to the checkered flag, take home that race win. And then in race number 2, working from the back of the grid to move into 2nd place on the final corner. Talk us through the experience of cutting through the field like that.
Yeah, it was really difficult, that 2nd race. The high side in 1 and 2 was really good if you could get right up against the wall. So I was trying to use that to the best of my ability, because felt like a lot of guys couldn't get right up against the wall like how you needed. And yeah, it was a lot of fun coming back through. I think the 333 had like a iRacing issue on the first race, so he ended up starting up front in the 2nd race, and he had a good run. But yeah, there wasn't really any catching him, I don't think.
Yeah, 11 seconds at the checkered flag shows the advantage of the clean air and staying out of trouble. What was your game plan for that with your qualifying position in race number 1 of sort of holding back the drivers behind so it could be a straight fight between those sort of front runners?
Yeah, I actually don't have a whole lot of experience on dirt ovals. I do a lot of pavement ovals, but my buddy Brandon Combs was spotting for me, and he does a lot of dirt stuff. So he was giving me some tips with just like the shiny parts of the racetrack and the crumbs and how to use that to get some momentum off the corner and really just like stick to the bottom in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 as well. And that was what I felt like I could do better. Just stay on the bottom, don't wash up, and get a good run off the corner. And yeah, it paid off.
Yeah, a great run of form. Of course, next week we head over to Firebird for our third short course race of the season. How are you feeling going into that one about your carrying this performance forwards?
Yeah, well, last week I think it was Bark River. Um, I was not fast at all, so I still have a lot to learn on the short courses. This is my third win of the season. The other one was at Navarra, and that's not even dirt. So um, I definitely have a lot to learn on the dirt, but that's kind of why I joined this league to learn a little bit. And I still have to buy the Firebird track, so um, we'll get some practice in, and we'll see. But it's always exciting going to those tracks. They're really fun with the jumps and just the format of these races is so cool with the invert as well. So yeah, looking forward to it.
You you're within about half a race of Edmondson going into the final 3 rounds. So, I mean, do you think you've got a shot at that, or is he just gonna do what he normally does once he comes back?
If we had some more dirt ovals and pavement road courses, I'd say maybe, but um, yeah, he's an alien on the dirt road courses, so I don't really know. We'll just try to. I kind of thought this after Wild West. I was like, well, this guy's really good. We'll just try to go for second here in my first season. Um, but I don't know. I mean, anything can happen. I think at Bark River he got caught up in some stuff and didn't have a super good finish. So sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
All right, sounds good. Well, thank you so much for joining us. If there's anything you want to say to the fans at home, now is the time. Congratulations on the race win.
Yeah, appreciate it. You guys do a great job. Thanks for having me.
All right. And that is Zach Fuller, the winner of race number 1. We now jump over to a driver who had a tale of two halves, really. Matthew Linder picks up the race 2 win after issues in that opening race. I mean, talk us through what happened there on the grid for race number 1. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to be wondering.
Yeah, I'm just rolling around, pacing, ready to go green, and then all of a sudden, I can't see a single thing. And I tried to do my best, holding the wheels just as straight as possible, but I guess it was just drifting slowly right, which was just really unfortunate. And I'm really sorry to whoever's race I ruined and messed up there. Yeah, no, it just really sucked. First time that's happened in a while, honestly. I haven't had my game go black like that. But yeah, just the only thing I could do is just apologize. Really, that was just really unfortunate. And I also want to apologize to the 151. I was trying my hardest to get back up through the field. Definitely driving a little bit too hard, and I kind of got him in the left rear corner, which ultimately ruined his race. And I was like, yeah, I'm just parking it, waiting for the race number 2.
Yes, letting yourself sort of settle back in and find that rhythm again. And I mean, you certainly found it in that second race. Had that clean air to take advantage of and set sail from the rest of the field.
Yeah, no, I felt good all night, really. I wish that race 1 I could actually took the grid on where I started, because I felt like we could have had a real good race there. And I mean, it was a really good race. But race 2, it was just about putting down the laps really and just running clean laps. I was kind of taking the approach into these corners and attacking it like I would a dirt late model on dirt oval, because I do a fair amount of dirt oval. And it's like you kind of want to just use the wall as your cushion and let it catch you. And then you could just focus on your drive off. So that's kind of how I was like approaching these corners and attacking it when it got up to the top. But like in that race 1, it was just how well you could keep up your momentum on the bottom and run as low as you can. But of course, once that track got all jacked up, it was pretty top dominant, which probably caused the racing to be as spread out as it was, because it would be hard to pass because there's so much grip on like the bottom and middle. You can't like throw a slider or anything because your car's just gonna, or your truck, sorry, your truck is just gonna get tight on you and you can't really make any moves. So it was hard to make moves in this second race here.
Well, it is in the end a race victory, your first of the season, your third podium of the season, and it puts you up into 6th place in the championship standings. Next week to a slightly more normal track, although I mean Firebird's still maybe the wildest of the dirt road short courses. How are you feeling going into that one?
Firebird is definitely a pretty good track for me in the Pro 4s. Pro 2s, it's not my strong suit. Bark River last week was my best Pro 2 track, but I unfortunately missed that one. So that one sucked. But definitely looking forward to going back to the short course tracks, really. And hopefully have fun with Josh and Sean, who hopefully will come out for next week. And maybe Connor, too. It'll be pretty fun racing Connor. If I keep up with him, that's for certain.
Always a challenge with those guys on the short course tracks. Well, thank you for joining us. Congratulations on the race 2 win. If there's anything you want to say to the fans at home, now would be the time to do it.
I just want to thank everyone who puts on Special Stage and the stream. You guys put on real fun races and a real great looking streams. And yeah, it was a fun one. I can't wait to hopefully be back this next week here.
All right, well, sounds good. I look forward to seeing you again throughout the rest of the season. Have a good one.
Yep. Have a good one.
That was race 2 winner Matthew Linder, and it looks like there's all the drivers who are looking for an interview. Although of course we do still have the wonderful James Watson alongside. What are your sort of final thoughts coming through on this one as to how the racing was and whether you'd want to see another dirt oval come through next season, and if so, this one or maybe try a different track?
Yeah, I definitely think a dirt oval belongs on the schedule. It's such a massive change of pace. It's so much fun, and it puts on an absolute show. And even while things get pretty sketchy out there, excuse me, people have a lot of fun during these rounds. So it definitely, it changed up a little bit. Like I like the idea of having it change every season. There's plenty of dirt ovals on the service, and pretty much all of them are viable for the most part. So yeah, I can't wait to see what the dirt oval choice will be for the next season of the off-road series.
Yeah, it is going to be very interesting indeed. We are going to head now out of South Florida and head over to Fiber Motorsports Park. I'm not actually sure. Well, it might also be in Florida, who knows?
It is Arizona, I believe.
Okay, so we are heading out of Florida, thankfully. It is, yeah, Chandler, Arizona. I am not going to be joining us for next week. That will be covered by the wonderful Tommy Cook, I believe, over at Turn 200, bringing you that action. So that'll be the place to look for next week's race. We'll of course be back here in 2 weeks' time with the penultimate round at the IRP Rallycross course, which is certainly going to be an interesting one. That is a very strange Rallycross course. And can't wait to bring that. And of course, the recent announcement for Season 2 of the Special Stage Jota Series has been revealed. It's GT4 cars, which doesn't seem particularly wild, except when you look at the schedule. You've got the likes of Summit Point Jefferson, the Pocono Oval, and a Figure 8 race at Slinger. That's going to be a fun one to keep an eye on, I think.
Absolutely. It'll be really interesting to see those cars run at some of those courses. I know I'm looking forward to the Pocono race and the Figure 8 race specifically.
Yeah, that. I don't know how you manage a Figure 8 race, really. It's going to be a new challenge for everyone. But that's kind of what the Joker series is for. We did some silly combos last season. Why not do a few more this time? Live on JCTV tomorrow night, the BSR Grid Network Truck Series will be live from Michigan International Speedway. That'll be a great one to watch. Again, next week, the Special Stage Pro Trucks heads over to Firebird Motorsports Park. 3 rounds to go in the championship. Edmondson still leads the way, but the gap has closed in quite a lot. Can anyone bring down that truck, or is he going to run away with yet another championship? We will have to find out. From here at JCTV, from James Watson, our wonderful co-commentator and live race reporter this week, from everyone here, I've been Olivia Hayward saying thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.